Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2020 My Team career. So here today we are in Bahrain for the second round of the championship. We had a very decent time in Australia managing to score points right out of the box, but I have a feeling Bahrain may be a more difficult challenge. We've got a livery update. I changed around a few sponsor colours, and we also have that new sponsor on the car as well, so the car looking a bit more complete now, which is always good, but still only two different sponsors. We may get more in a few episodes time, but we're going to purchase as we go before qualifying a durability upgrade to the MG UK, so that should be wearing out less as we go through the season, but that's really the only upgrade we can do. So into qualifying now then, and we'll see where we can start the Bahrain Grand Prix. Getting through the first few corners pretty well. You can see the sponsors on the halo. They were there in the previous episode, but they were painted the same color as the halo, so you couldn't actually see them. So you can see them there now though. So a little bit more detail, I suppose, on the car for this round. But anyway, we continue through the lap, risking a little bit through the right-hander there, and just touching the curb of turn 12, I believe that is. But anyway, now coming in to the final corner, running a little wide and out onto the curb on the exit, but a nice run onto the straight, DRS to the line, and we will move ourselves into position 20. So, not the greatest, it has to be said. We got out-qualified, I should say, by Guan Yu Zhou by 2 positions. Magnussen in between us, and seems to be that we have similar pace to the Haas cars at this point. But yeah, I really only out-qualified the Williams, but that seems to be roughly where our pace is at. Good effort by Guan Yu Zhou to out-qualify Kevin Magnussen there in the Haas. But yeah, not too much else to say. So let's get into the race.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Why do you think you weren't as quick as your teammate today?
Well, there's obviously a reason we hired Guan Yu Zhou. He's a great driver, so you know, I expect him to be very, very quick, and yeah, he certainly proved his pace today.
Your qualifying pace didn't put you at the front of the grid. Will this be a problem tomorrow?
Yeah, obviously we probably could have done a little better in qualifying. As I just said, Guan Yu Zhou showed the pace was good enough to keep up with the Haas's, but we're not too far off really, and I think in the race we may be able to come back into it, and you just never know what's going to happen in the race, so we just have to wait and see.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Thanks, Claire. Alright, let's get into the race.
The stage is set for another enthralling race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A Ferrari stronghold in years gone by, but will they be able to add to their record today? Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36-mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sergio notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Sainz. Norris, Ricciardo, Ocon and Sergio Perez. Stroll, Leclerc, Kimi Raikkonen and Gasly, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean and Guan Yu Zhou. Magnussen, the scientist, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, we will try to do that, but I don't think we'll have the luck and pace that we had in Australia, but we'll see. The difficulty is set to exactly the same, but qualifying here was nowhere near as strong. So the Renault engine not pushing us along the straights as well as what we might like, and I think that's costing us here this weekend. Not too many upgrades, if any, on the car, but anyway, we go to the 5 red lights. And the lights are out and we are underway for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it's a very good start for us versus Magnussen and Zhou, but we are going to go for a dive down the inside of those two. Little look on Giovinazzi, but not going to work out for us. Russell with a big move around the outside, gets through down the inside of Giovinazzi. They're still side by side. Giovinazzi though is going to get through ahead of the Williams, as we need to get a bit of slipstream from Russell. Down the inside of Russell again, very close to the back of him there as we swerve to the inside, but a nice move, but not going to get the position on this occasion. We'll see how closely we can follow through this middle sector, and if we can go for a move just here, we may be close enough. Down the inside we go again, and we do get the move done on Russell, and have to be very careful not to make contact with Giovinazzi, but we do get the move done. Grosjean with a good start as well for the Frenchman, getting ahead of Giovinazzi on the start. So both Grosjean and myself and Russell, to be fair, have had a good start. Now Zhou and Russell battling side by side along the back straight, but no opportunity for Zhou to take that position. Russell with the straight line speed with the Mercedes engine in the back of the Williams, so yeah, no opportunity for him, but we continue on, and we'll see if we can make any further moves. But from here I'm not sure that we're going to have the pace in these early stages.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
Of this My Team career mode, but we'll see as we head through the final corner to complete the first lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Many laps to go in this one, but moving on now to lap 4. Here is Lewis Hamilton. He's had a pretty awful start to the race, dropped a whole bunch of positions, and he's dropped the rear end, spinning around into the escape road and into the wall goes Hamilton, and that is a very uncharacteristic mistake from the Mercedes driver, and he will be very disappointed with himself for doing that. Comes back onto the track right in front of Nicholas Latifi, and if that was any closer, that would have been a dangerous re-entry for sure, but I think he may just get away with it. But he probably will be coming into the pits for a front wing change after that collision with the wall, and indeed in he comes to the lane. So an absolute disaster for Hamilton at the start of this race, and yeah, as I said, he will be disgusted with himself for that mistake. But new front wing on the car, and he should have some very decent pace on some new tyres, and off he goes again, and he will need to do the comeback drive of a lifetime to get back into the action here. But we move on. Russell gets back past us down the straight, or we almost run into the back of him as we head into towards the end of the second sector, but no opportunity for us to come back at Russell, and he has some mighty pace at the moment in that Williams. So yeah, we're not really competing with him in this race, I don't think, and we have to watch out because Guan Yu Zhou is also showing some lightning pace today as well. So we may be the second driver in today's race. Guan Yu Zhou seeming to have some very good pace, as I mentioned. But anyway, we continue on, and you see now Zhou is going to breeze straight past us. We're not going to make it too hard for him, and he takes the position. We grab some slipstream as he goes through, but yeah, no issue there for us as he has a bit of a lock-up, but gets the car stopped and turned anyway. So yeah, we can just try to follow our teammate, and hopefully we can stay ahead of the cars behind. And Latifi now with an issue, and he was going to retire from the race with that recently repainted Williams car not making it to the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix. So disappointment for Latifi, as we've now got Hamilton behind us as he's coming back into this race slowly but surely, and we're just going to leave a bit of a gap there so he can find his way through, and Hamilton gets himself up and into 19th position. Plenty more to go for him before he is in the points, but no doubt he will try his best to get there in the end. But yeah, we can't really expect to be racing with Hamilton at this point.
Moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
So yeah, the sooner he cleared us, the quicker we could just sort of get back into it, and you can see he is gone already. So yeah, there was no point in fighting too much with him. So now we need to try
in the pits. Guan Yu in the pits.
to get back into this race,
We're
because
approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Guan Yu Zhou has gotten quite a lead on us as we go through this race, as we go around the outside of the Renault, but that is not going to work out for us. Unfortunately, we're on the old tyres.
Moved up to P14. P14.
Esteban Ocon on brand new tyres, and this is not good for us because we are surrounded by faster cars, and we're just getting swamped at this point as we're on the old tyres trying to come into the pits on this lap. But yeah, cars just going everywhere. We run deep, and there's probably another car going to appear on the inside. There it is, the racing point of Sergio Perez getting through, as he leaves a bit of a gap for us on the inside, but we're not really going to be able to take that with the grip that we have. So Perez just playing it cautious. Fair enough, I suppose. But now Gasly through down the inside, and yeah, this is just sort of affecting our in-lap and affecting all of their races as well. So probably not the best time to pit stop for us as we continue on. And yeah, it's embarrassing really, just getting passed by every single car it seems. But we will eventually come in for our stop on this lap as Russell gets past us, so that shows the pace that he has had in this race. He's already made a stop and has caught up to us again. So yeah, we really are nowhere in this race. So anyway, into the pits we go, and we'll get a new set of soft tyres onto the car.
Go, go, go.
And they will help us out significantly in our pace.
We'll be doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy.
So the only car that we are ahead of at this point in the race is Kevin Magnussen. He has had some kind of issue in this race, I think, because he is nowhere near Grosjean. But Gasly retires as well with a mechanical failure. His teammate behind him gets a face full of smoke, and he won't be too impressed with that. But yeah, Gasly out of the race, and a safety car
is waiting for the leader. You may overtake it. Overtake the safety car. Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
So what does that do for this race? Some people will come into the pits, I believe. So we're going to stay out and see if we can gain any positions from the pitters. But as you can see,
Russell is stopping now.
George Russell, with the incredible pace, to be fair, that he has had, manages to pit again and come out in front of us. So as we continue on, I thought about pitting there, you could see, moving over, but deciding against it. But as we continue on, we catch up to the safety car train right at the last corner, and they will be doing another lap. And there is only one car behind me still in the race. That is Magnussen.
Lap, then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
So we've only got one position to lose, and we'll definitely be close enough to the train to catch up to them by the end of this lap, when they will likely restart. So I've really got not much at all, if not nothing, to lose by coming into the pits. We're going to go onto another set of soft tyres,
Complete. Go now.
which is a little bit worn. It's one of the qualifying sets, but they're newer than the ones I had on the car.
You'll be
And
able to push sooner once these scrubbed tyres are up to speed.
and that is also something very important. We'll have warm tyres on the restart because we can do this outlap at more or less full speed as we catch up to the train. And on the restart, we're going to have a lot more grip than everyone else as we go down the inside of 1, 2 cars and almost 3, as we were briefly considering going down the inside of the racing point, but we settled for 2 and moved ourselves ahead of Kevin Magnussen and George Russell. Perez just slightly out of reach in this one, but at this point I don't really know what is happening with strategy. We have one more stop to go onto the mediums to the end of the race, and if I was thinking, I probably should have put the medium tyres on then and either run them to the end or try softs for the final stint as a short run to the checkered flag, but I didn't really consider that option. So yeah, that was my bad on that one. But we've got a cracking battle right in front of us, but it does not resolve in the favour of our teammate. Now we're putting pressure on Guan Yu Zhou, so we'll see if we can get the move done on our teammate and play ourselves back into contention to be the leading Galactic Thunder car in this race. But we'll see as we continue on our fight with our teammate. We'll not get DRS because it is not enabled yet, so that is affecting our ability at this point, and we'll see what we can do.
Just so you know, we're getting some strange readings from a couple of the sensors. I don't think you need to be worried. It's just some bad data, so keep doing what you're doing, and I'll let you know if we notice any genuine problems.
But Guan Yu Zhou pits anyway, so that doesn't really help us out at all.
Guan Yu is coming in for his stop.
Right
DRS has been enabled.
Right as the DRS gets enabled,
The car ahead is 5.5 seconds.
Russell gets past us, and that is the end of that battle, I think. So yeah, right now we just have to run the fastest race we can and see if we beat Zhou at the end. He has made his final stop now. We'll make our final stop soon, and Kevin Magnussen is still somewhere behind us, I think, but that safety car has brought him back into contention as well, as we're putting pressure on George Russell. So close behind him in the braking zone there, but no move to be made on that occasion. But yeah, it's just hasn't really come together for us in this one. A mistake in the strategy for me, and yeah, it just isn't. We're just not really running very high in the order, is what I'm trying to say, and the pace just isn't great for me, especially versus my teammate. We were the faster car in Australia, but Zhou seems to have the pace here in Bahrain, which is very strange. Generally it has not been the case in my career modes in the past. Generally Bahrain is a very good track for me, so yeah, different game, different advantages on different tracks it seems. But anyway, we make our final stop onto the mediums, and we are already down to 20th position, last place.
Stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
But obviously Gasly and Latifi are out of the race, so we're not going to drop behind them no matter what. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect from this one. Kevin Magnussen makes his final stop, and he emerges side by side with us, side by side through the first corner, round the outside of Magnussen to the inside, and we get the move done on Magnussen, and it looks like this will be the battle to the end of the race, as Magnussen is still trying to overtake us, but we managed to hold him off on that lap. But he's going to continue to fight with us, going to come back again, but we're going to give him a little squeeze to the inside, back to the racing line, drifting back over and outbraking Magnussen. We've actually got some fairly decent brakes, it seems, at least versus the Haas car, so we know what their brakes are like, and he actually backs out quite significantly there, and gives us the advantage, gives us DRS as well through there. But Guan Yu Zhou makes another pit stop in this race, so I thought he made his final stop. Clearly he did not. That, or he got some damage at some point battling with someone. But yeah, it seems Guan Yu Zhou has made another stop, comes out behind us. So this could be a 3-car fight if he can catch up on some fresh tyres. But DRS open for us, and we go for a massive dive down the inside of Kevin Magnussen. And what did I say about the brakes on this car? We get it stopped and turned, and we get the move done very nicely on Kevin Magnussen. Look at the replay here. He has just had nothing to fight with there compared to us through that corner. So that was a mighty effort to get down the inside there and get the car through that corner though. But a mistake in this very tricky middle sector, and Magnussen is going to come back at us. He's somewhere on the left side, and he gets through, and it looks like we won't be able to fight back at this point as we head through. So slow he goes through the left-hander up the hill, but we just couldn't find a way through. If we got the car turned in a bit tighter, we may have been able to switch it back, but yeah, it just didn't work out for us, and he seems quite quick on the straights, so it'll be very tricky to re-overtake him. We're going to try though, around the outside into the first corner. He weaves around a little bit. We're very deep into the corner though, and it looks like he may hold on around the outside this time, and he does. So yeah, not working out in our favour at this point, but as I said, Guan Yu Zhou, if we battle too much, we'll catch up, and he is gaining on us fairly significantly. But I have a feeling this battle with Magnussen might be over because he's gotten clear of us, and as you can see, he is gone as we overtake Sergio Perez, who is now out of this race. So yeah, not the end to the day that Perez wanted, but he is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That elevates us into 18th position, Guan Yu Zhou into 19th, and I feel like this might be the battle that will take the rest of the race. So yeah, we move on, and Guan Yu Zhou is catching up to us and flies straight past along the straight. We're going to see if we can come back at him though, down the inside, a mega dive into turn 4, just like we've done Magnussen Zhou though, with a mega switchback, and we get the blue flag. So that kind of ended that battle with Guan Yu Zhou, unfortunately for us. So now we move on to the final lap of the race, and
gap to the car in front is 5.0 seconds.
Guan Yu Zhou, you can hear, has really gotten away from us as Max Verstappen now catches up to us on the final lap, the final corner in fact, as he goes down the inside. And yeah, just not really the pace in this one, but we'll come back stronger next time. But anyway, we cross the line for last place, 19th position.
Race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Bit of a disappointing one, really. Charles Leclerc, driver of the day.
A fantastic team effort then to secure victory here in the desert. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So Charles Leclerc takes the race win, and it's a Ferrari 1-2 with Vettel in second position. Valtteri Bottas rounds out the podium finishes.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Charles Leclerc's points today take him to the top of the championship standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Alright, so Mercedes 1-2 on the grid, Ferrari 1-2 at the finish of that race. Yeah, bit of a not a great race for Mercedes, it has to be said. Hamilton got a really ordinary start through the first few laps and kept getting overtaken by many cars, and then obviously that mistake really costing him the opportunity to fight for the podium in this one. But the Ferraris, it seems, with the race pace and perhaps the strategy advantage over Bottas to climb over him in this race. But yeah, not really too much to say about our race. We just weren't really there on pace. I think we probably would have had the pace to race with Latifi, but he had mechanical failure quite early on before we really had any chance to battle with him. But Russell had some mega pace, and Magnussen with the safety car, it closed him right up to the rest of us, and yeah, that did not help our cause. Otherwise, I think we would have finished ahead of him with the issues he had, because before the safety car he was a good, I don't know, 15-20 seconds behind us at least. So I think we would have had him covered if not for that safety car. But oh well, that's the way it goes this time. And we got lucky in Australia. Magnussen got lucky here in Bahrain. But yeah, I can't blame the car though, really, for our pace, because we weren't as fast as Guan Yu Zhou. And I know from Australia that we can be as fast, if not faster. So yeah, disappointing, but oh well, we'll see what we can do between now and the next race to try and have a better time. So there we go. That brings the Bahrain Grand Prix weekend to a close. We are almost at level 4 acclaim. I think we get a new sponsor at level 5, so we will be looking forward to that to increase our cash income. 100k for this race, so not bad, and that moves us up to 700k in the bank. So we'll see.
You nailed exactly what the team's been working on. When you've got time, check the R&D tree to see our current progress and where we think there's room for more. And while you're at it, why not take a stroll around HQ and check on how the team's doing?
Here, we can spend any extra money that you secured on perks. Each of these perks benefit both you and your current team. They stay with you, so they'll make you a more attractive prospect in future negotiations.
So these driver perks, I'm deciding to go with the media coaching one, and they're actually reasonably expensive, but compared to the upgrading facilities, I guess it's not so bad. But we do that, and we also fill up the time until the next Grand Prix, which will be the Vietnam Grand Prix, I think. So new track next time out, which will be interesting. But yeah, that is just about it for this episode. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time for another F1 2020 video. Goodbye.